fighting in the main event, co-main event. I would just make a poster with Khamzat on it. It would just say Khamzat, UFC 273. The hype is real. As real as it gets, Khamzat. Chimaev is an absolute fucking monster. He's ranked number 11. He's fighting the number 2 guy in the world for a reason. He's jumping the queue because he's that goddamn good. And again, this is no shade on Gilbert Burns. He's an amazing fighter. He's number 2 at welterweight for a reason. He had the world champion, the pound for pound GOAT, Kamaru Usman, rocked and in a bit of trouble. And obviously he gives him all he can handle in practice. That's what everyone kept telling me. Practice, practice, practice. I told you practice doesn't mean shit. And we learned that in that fight. So Gilbert Burns is one of the best welterweights we have to offer. Phenomenal jiu-jitsu, world champion, the gi multiple times. And, he's beat some guys. And I think if you're a Khamzat hater, again, I don't even know if Khamzat has haters. I don't know what you'd hate on. But if you look at, if you are a Gilbert guy and you're like, man, Gilbert can get this done. Look what he did against Wonderboy Thompson, right? He took him down and held him and, did his thing, controlled the fight and was never really in trouble with Wonderboy. And he took him down. He only has 4 losses. Sure. I get all that. But then I want you to step back and think about this. He had Wonderboy for 15 minutes, completely controlled him on the ground. Couldn't submit Wonderboy, who's maybe a purple belt. You think he's going to take Khamzat Chimaev down and control him and submit Khamzat? A bigger, better grappler? Not a chance. Not a chance. And this is no shade on Gilbert. I know it sounds like I'm throwing shade on Gilbert. I'm not. Khamzat, I'm telling you, man, I'm so high on Khamzat. Nothing is better to me in this fucking world, in any sport, than when a prospect is coming up through the ranks and there's these urban legends about his training camp and what he does to Gustafsson and Latifi, and his coaches tell me you haven't seen shit. And then, he beats the brakes off your boy Jing Lang, beats the shit out of him, and goes from there and goes to a grappling match against a middleweight and mollywops him. The amount of hype and mythical stories that we've heard about Khamzat and just the come up, and there's no reason we shouldn't believe it, because every time he's performed, he's validated this insane hype train, and I am all for it. I am hanging off his Dagestani nuts harder than anybody you're going to listen to. I think he is the most talented fighter we've seen in fucking years. He is a Conor McGregor Dagestanian, but bigger, more skilled overall, and more tenacity. And he's a mean motherfucker, dude. He's just this badass. He's this mythical, logical creature. He's the fucking, he's the Bigfoot in Dagestani. He's the Bigfoot in Sweden that we never get to see. Finally, we get to see him. And we get to see him against the number 2 fucking welterweight in the world. And what's insane to me is saying this. I think he mops the floor with Gilbert Burns. I think he absolutely annihilates him. And what's even crazier is I don't see anybody on the UFC roster giving him any sorts of fucking issues. That's what's crazy to me. And that's what I love. I know it's romantic. I'm a romantic. I love the story. I love the narrative of this Dagestani fucking monster doing his thing. I love all of it. And I'm all here for it. Take my fucking money. If the UFC said, hey, it's $100 and you can only watch Khamzat fight, I would fucking pay it in a heartbeat. Anytime he fights, I'm on the goddamn Khamzat train. I don't know if he has merch. Let me know, Chen. I'm fucking buying it. Hopefully he has his own merch. And I know him and Darren Till are fucking besties now. And hopefully Darren Till's taking a thing or two from him and he's going to parlay it in something else. I know Khamzat's launched his own YouTube channel, which is fucking blowing up as well. The guy's just crushing it, dude. He's crushing it. This is the UFC store merch. Yeah. Hopefully he has his own merch.
I wonder if he has his own website.
I mean, I'll buy the UFC merch. I don't have an issue with that. Have you ever seen anybody rocking the fucking? Well, I guess Reebok's out. They don't even. They still do fight kits though, don't they? What? Venom. Venom does the fight kits now. Is it?
Well, so he has a website, but it's not. It says coming soon, so he'll probably have merch after.
Oh my god, that guy would make a fortune off merch.
Yeah.
The cool merch you could do with that, dude.
Let's look at the fight kits here.
Mike's just hoping he wins because Mike has a Khamzat rookie card worth how much, Mike? $3 or $4 grand right now. Becomes champ, that goes up to what?
Maybe we'll get it to 10.
You gonna sell it? If he gets to 10, you gonna sell it? Yeah, I mean it's fight game. How long? I don't know. So you got the authentic one. Actually, it has the big crypto thing. So, but is this Khamzat gear? Or this is just.
There you go. Shirt. Hoodie, shirt. That looks pretty cool. You're not digging it?
I mean, it does look cool. It's very Under Armour-ish, right? Like you're gonna.
I would use his first name.
Something a little more.
Khamzat look so much cooler, I think, than Chimaev.
I mean, there's nothing that just blows me away
No.
on there. It's just so basic. How do they not focus on Khamzat? What's the back say?
Let me click
I
on
am
it.
your king. I mean, the cool merch, the boogeyman merch. Like, I am your king. I'm not mad at that shirt. I don't wear a ton of blue, but
Yeah, it looks like a cool baseball type shirt.
this product ships from a third party. Product could take initial 7 to 10 business days to ship from the vendor. Product time will be 7 to 10 business days, regardless of shipping option chooses. Oh well, that's not ideal. I'm all here for it though, and also when he fought Jing Lang, his camp was worried about him getting to welterweight, right? And because he's such a big welterweight, and it's his advantage in so many aspects, from the grappling to the power, everything. He's a bigger welterweight. He's going to be massive as far as physically over Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a smaller welterweight. So he's a big favorite for a reason. The last 3 fights on the main card are all complete mismatches as far as Vegas odds go. Now, does that mean they're going to be landslides? Nope. Oh, check me out. Does that mean there's going to be landslide, minute finishes? No, I don't think that. That's your card,
There's
Mike?
Mike's card. Sealed. Protected.
Sealed. Mike's stoked. Mike collects cards.
He does.
Mike fucking.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
No, man. I'm all about it. So, Khamzat, I will say this. If you're a Khamzat fan, I think he has, I'll be kind of conservative on this. I think he has 2 more fights at welterweight before he's sick of being on a diet all the goddamn time. I know he was in shape for a fight 2 months ago. He was walking around at the weight to make welterweight at 170. So he's a bigger guy. So what I think happens is Khamzat beats Gilbert Burns. If he goes in there and absolutely starches him, like I'm talking a minute, 2 minutes, just mollywops Gilbert Burns, he puts the UFC in quite the predicament because the UFC has promised Leon Edwards a title shot. Mm-hmm. God, has he earned it, right? We all want Leon Edwards to get what he deserves. He's earned it. But the UFC is going to be in such a tough spot because the demand for Khamzat to get a title shot, if he completely beats the shit out of Gilbert Burns, is going to be so insane. And the UFC is about money. They're about money. They're not about doing the right thing all the time. But, Kamaru Usman is coming off of surgery. There has been no official announcement of him versus Leon Edwards in July or June or August. So with that not being confirmed, unless they confirm it this week, the UFC is going to be in quite the predicament. They really are, man. Because if Khamzat mops the floor with Gilbert Burns, number 2 guy in the world, what do you do? We know what's going to get numbers. We know what's going to get numbers, and it's Kamaru versus Khamzat.
Yeah.
And Khamzat's not going to be around welterweight too long. And also Khamzat, again, one of the reasons I love him, reminds me such of Conor when he's coming up. He doesn't want to just sit on the shelf. He doesn't give a fuck about your title. He's already said, if they give Conor the title shot, it makes sense. Yeah, dude, he's a huge star. He's trying to make money, whatever they want to do. He doesn't care about that stuff. He just wants to compete at all costs. So if the UFC does go, all right, Khamzat, we hear the demand from the fans. You beat the shit out of Gilbert Burns you deserve a title shot. We're going to give it to you, but it's probably not going to be till December, maybe early 2023, depending how Leon Edwards and Usman does, which is another fight we can get into. I do think that's a tougher fight for Kamaru Usman. But Len, you're telling me Leon Edwards beat Khamzat? Tough fight. Tough fight. So I do think the UFC is going to do the right thing. I'm just saying they're going to be a bit of a predicament. Yeah. I do think they're going to do Leon Edwards, Usman sometime late summer. But Khamzat, if he gets past the way I think he's going to get past Gilbert Burns, he's not going to wait. He wants to compete. And then you got a guy who has a ton of press, a ton of eyeballs on him right now for, I would say, the wrong reasons in Colby Covington against, his issues with Masvidal at the steakhouse in Miami where he sucker punched. But you do Khamzat versus Colby Covington. That's what you do. You do Gilbert Burns, you pass that test, you give him the next guy in line because he'll be ranked number 2, so you give him Colby Covington, and then he'll just wait for Kamaru Usman, and then it's on to the middleweights because he's naturally a middleweight. And, they have our guy fucking, is he even ranked? They have Sean Strickland at number 4, so then you have Sean Strickland is facing the guy who beat Izzy in kickboxing, knocked him out. You have him climbing through the rankings, and I do think Strickland's an underdog in that fight, which is surprising to me. From what I've seen, the guy's a stud. The guy is an absolute stud, but I do think it's a big jump to go to Sean Strickland from what he's been competing at. But if he were to beat Sean Strickland, then you have that fun story of Izzy versus what's his name, Chin?
Alex Pereira.
That makes sense. But outside that, the middleweight division has nothing to offer. So Khamzat comes right in there. You got Izzy Khamzat.
Dude, so many awesome matchups.
You got Izzy Khamzat. And then we're going Sizzler because also Khamzat, with the strength and what he does in training camp, you got light heavyweight too. Who wants it, Daddy? Who wants it? Khamzat has the potential. This is what I absolutely fucking adore about the UFC, and there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. A little bit of a Patrick Mahomes vibe, I guess. He was picked late and then comes in, and they have Chiefs had their starting quarterback in Alex Smith, and they take a chance in this young rookie from Texas Tech who, got to be honest, turned the ball over in college and didn't blow your hair back, but he's a gunslinger, comes in the NFL, and he's the best quarterback in the NFL now, not named Aaron Rodgers. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. But he's up there, man. He's fucking dangerous. His come up was cool, very cool, took the NFL by storm. Khamzat's similar to that, man, where he has the potential to just take over the UFC. For the first time, and he's a smaller guy. He's not fucking around at 145 like Conor did, and 55. Then really shouldn't be fighting at 70, but he can if it's the right matchup. Khamzat's a guy at 170 is the best in the world. At 185, we will see against Izzy. I'm still obviously super high on Izzy, and that light heavyweight, he can fuck around and play the game in all 3 of those divisions. It is fantastic. The world is your oyster, my man. The world is your oyster. And it is so goddamn exciting. Now, what's going to be hilarious is if he gets absolutely starched on Saturday by Gilbert Burns, and you guys watch this, and then I get all the smoke from Gilbert Burns fans, which I encourage that. It would be hilarious. And all this hype stops, which is also awesome to see, too. It's hilarious. That's how hard, that's the fight game, man. Mike's just worried about his card and making money, but the fight game will humble anybody. But with Khamzat, I just don't see a hole in his game yet. I just don't. Not yet. The only guy to give him issues at middleweight would be Izzy with the matchups. But if he goes in there and does what we think he's capable of doing against Gilbert Burns, it's gonna get so scary. In a great way. And it's so romantic and it's so Hollywood. It's a Marvel movie. He's the boogeyman. It's so fucking dope. And it's also terrifying too, because as much, I haven't been talking shit, but as much gas that I've given Khamzat the fight game is such a motherfucker. It's such a cold-hearted bitch. All this could stop if he loses to Gilbert Burns on Saturday. That's why this is fun. Yeah. The stakes are so high. And my God, if there's a stock I'm investing in, Khamzat, dude, you guys fucking know this. He's a fucking problem at welterweight, at middleweight, at light heavyweight. I would back him against anybody in the world. The only fight I'm not crazy for him about is Izzy, because Izzy's a bad motherfucker. I still believe this. If aliens came down and were like, all right, man, we're going to blow up this earth, but we're going to keep the UFC, but we're only going to keep a few fighters. Who should we watch? I'd say watch Izzy. Right now, I'd say watch Izzy. Now, come Saturday, if Khamzat beats the shit out of Gilbert Burns, I'd say watch Khamzat. He's a fucking savage. And I'd whisper in the alien's ear what he did, what he planned to do to Conor McGregor, talk shit about a guy he doesn't even know because they're both Dagestanian. And he's going to fly to fucking Dublin, beat the shit out of him. I'd whisper that in the alien's ear. He'd say, for real? I'd say, yeah, dog, that's what you're dealing with. And nobody's been able to figure him out. Take him. But also take me because I'm the hype train. I'm his hype man. I'm his Flavor Flav. That's what I am. And if I'm the UFC, dude, the poster is just, this is no shade on any of the champions. The poster is just Khamzat. And then everybody else small at the bottom. That's what I do. That's what, I'd be very black and white with everybody. I'd be very honest. We're all in on him, man. We're trying to make him the biggest star in the world. You see his YouTube numbers. You see his social media following. This guy has shown no chinks in the armor. Zero. Giant Khamzat. Everybody else small. UFC 273. Khamzat. Buy it. Very black. Buy it. Or else. Be sick.
Be amazing.